Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope all of you guys are doing fantastic today. Giant and I are having a fantastic weekend, and we're looking forward to seeing most of you guys on stream tonight. Today, we're going to be talking about Nagrarok, and we're going to be talking about the Sortilège. If you're a new player to War of the Visions, Nagrarok is going to be really important for you, and if you're an experienced player or a new player, Sortilège is going to be very important for you as well. So let's get in and let's talk about all of the different stats that are currently available here for the Nagrarok, and let's compare it just a little bit to the other pieces of equipment that you can get. If you're not aware, you can currently farm the Nagrarok quite easily, and Nagrarok is one of the easiest pieces of equipment to farm in the game. Now, there is a lot of common misconceptions about the Nagrarok, so we're just going to talk about Nagrarok real quick for the basic facts. So Nagrarok is a single-handed sword. So a lot of times, a lot of players mix it up with Golden Blade. I know when I first started the game, I thought Nagrarok was a two-handed weapon, and I would always mix up Nagrarok and Golden Blade and all of these other weapons that were sometimes one-handed and sometimes two-handed. A lot of people also look at the Lionheart replica, which is available with the Final Fantasy XIV event, and don't realize that that's actually a one-handed sword as well. So the Nagrarok is a very good one-handed sword, and it's really excellent for entry-level players. So a lot of people have Excalibur, which is also a really good sword, and there's going to be a really good sword coming out next week from Deep Dungeon if you do have the capability to clear that right now. But if you don't, if you're just getting into the game, Nagrarok is going to be one of the best weapons that you can invest in for almost any sword-wielding character. Now, another note here, that we're probably going to be getting the Lionheart replica as well in the near future when the Final Fantasy XIV rerun event airs. That's going to be just as good. You can see here on the list here that the Nagrarok +5 Assault has 162 attack, and the Lionheart Assault has 168 attack. So they are very similar weapons, and they are both going to be a good place to start. Now, not only are they similar weapons, their materials, and particularly Nagrarok's materials, are quite easy to farm, and you can farm almost all of the materials for Nagrarok in the main story quest. This is really important because when we get to other pieces of equipment later down the road, it is not that easy to gear them up. So let's give an example here. We have our Nagrarok crafting recipe on the left, and we have our Mage Masher crafting recipe on the right. The recipes for these are both for +5 versions of the weapon, and you can see for the Nagrarok it only takes 345 secret books of refinement, and for the Mage Masher it takes 1,125. It takes significantly more ingredients, and it's going to be a lot more harder to max out. Now, the Nagrarok, on the other hand, is going to be very good and very powerful, and it's easy to farm. So if you have multiple sword-wielding characters, if you just joined the game now in the Final Fantasy Tactics 2 banner, and you have a couple Final Fantasy Tactics 2 units, it's 100% worth it. And I would actually say it's worth it to make multiple copies. Personally, I have multiple copies of Nagrarok of Nagrarok +5, and it's one of the most used weapons in my arsenal, and I've probably used it since day one. Now, there are some exceptions for Nagrarok, and those exceptions are going to be Cid, Gilgamesh, Nasha, Agrias, and Ravi's, and we're going to talk about those exceptions. Nagrarok is still going to be really good on them, but they are going to have better options. When we're talking about the better options, Coral Sword is going to be coming out here in a couple weeks. This is going to be the better option for Cid and Ravi's because it's going to increase the lightning modification damage by 30%. For Gilgamesh, for Nasha, we also have Ice Brand, which is going to increase ice attack by 30%. If you guys have an Ice Lance for Victoria, you should be very familiar with how powerful this is. And of course, we have the Night Sword coming out later this week with Deep Dungeon that's going to add ice attack 8, slash attack 8. That's also going to be really powerful for ice-based characters particularly Agrius. And just a note on that sword as well, it's gonna rival Excalibur in stats, so it's gonna be something you're gonna want, because even if it's not on an ice unit, it's still gonna be a very powerful sword to put on. Now, along with the Nagrarok for the original Final Fantasy Tactics event, we also have the Sortilège, and this piece of equipment goes by many different names. A lot of the times you'll just be hearing it called the Salty Accessory, because everybody doesn't quite know what to call it. Now, this is going to be one of the highest defense and highest spirit gaining accessories in the game. So this is going to give you, if you get the shield version, defense 12, spirit 6, or if you get the barrier version, spirit 12, defense 6. This is very powerful, and there's a lot of units this could be beneficial on. Another thing to note is that when you get the +5 version, you are going to get increased evasion rate, and then as you level it up, you're going to get increased blind resistance. So it's going to help you resist blind, and then as you +5 it, it's also going to increase your passive evasion rate. So is that good? And the answer, I think, is yes. And I actually think Sortilège has a very specific use, and I actually think it complements Delita very well. And it complements other units like Victora excellent. And the reason is because those units have very high base luck and can equip mithril armor, but mithril armor does not benefit from the box stat. So you're gonna want to be able to equip this and get that evasion rate 8, as well as that sort of defense plus the mithril armor's evasion. Or of course, if you have Delita in this situation, you could probably just equip him with a Sage's Hat. But if you're using Victora, for example, you have no way to get that box stat on her for evasion +8. So it's going to be another way to both increase Victora's evasion and increase the defense. And of course, there's many of us out there who don't have Sage's Hat +5, and building a mithril armor for evasion is significantly easier than getting a Sage's Hat +5 right now. So there's many of you who might want to use this in a medium evasion build. Now, for crafting, it is out of the Final Fantasy Tactics 2 event, and you are going to need 63 of the recipes, 2,500 unidentified sap, 315 bomb ash, 323 water crysts, and 1,125 secret books of refinement. Now, this is pretty standard, except there's two problematic materials here. That's going to be bomb ash and water cryst. So anyone familiar with the Ice Lance farming event for Victora is going to know that the ice crysts were only available in that event, and even in JP, I don't know if they've had a duplicate event for ice crysts yet. So very similarly, water crysts are only available in the Final Fantasy Tactics 2 event quest. Now, you can get water crysts in other ways. You can buy them from the shop whenever they appear. You can buy them from, I believe, Whimsy Shop as well. And then you can also get them on Chocobo Expedition if you are running the Water Chocobo Expedition. It can turn up occasionally. And by occasionally, I mean really occasionally. So if this is a piece of gear that you are going to want to build, it's very important that you get the water crysts and the bomb ash you need to +5 this before the end of the event. If you're watching this video, it's Sunday right now, you have at least a whole nother week to farm, a little bit longer than that. So that's going to be quite easy if you break it down by 7 days, the amount of water crysts that you need. If you farm multi for the additional drops, you really are going to be able to get it quite easily. Whether you're a whale, whether you're free to play, it's going to be easily acquirable. So it's going to be important for you guys to get this. I think it's a very important accessory for everyone to invest in, and I would encourage everyone to get it. Now, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Nagrarok and the Sortilège. I think, honestly, these are pieces of equipment that are like your bread and butter. So what do I mean by that? It's not going to be a piece of gear that is going to completely change how you play the game, but it's going to give more tools in your toolkit. It's going to give you more capability to sort of have a higher baseline for all of your characters when you need it. Do I think the Sortilège is going to be an end-all be-all equip every time? No, I don't. But do I think there's going to be certain circumstances, maybe in the future as well with new units, where I'm going to be blocked by the piece of equipment that unit can wear? Maybe they don't have a good TMR, and I really want to put defense or spirit on a unit. I'm going to throw that Sortilège on. It's going to be an easy solution. Maybe I get a new sword slashing unit and I'm running a 5-team slash comp for whatever I'm running. Maybe I need to have an extra sword. I'm going to throw that Nagrarok on. Maybe I need a magic Nagrarok for Delita or for Ramza. Or maybe I want to run a vital Nagrarok for a hybrid build. These are all things that are going to help you, and it's going to really raise that baseline of your account by having these pieces here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button, and of course drop a comment down in the YouTube section down below. Also, come check out our Discord. It's dig.gs/discord. We have a very chill community. It can be a little intimidating because we're a little large, but just jump into chat. We'll take care of you, and it's, you know, pretty warm and welcoming. Finally, if you guys are going to be buying Visior and you are in the US, please use my Amazon coin affiliate link, dig.gs/coins, or dig.gs/offer. It's one of the best ways to support me without directly giving me money, and it helps me out a lot. Thank you so much, you guys, and have a great rest of your day.